Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, we check out Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Real quick before we get started, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you guys haven't already. We're jumping right in. Now before we get started, this has been basically my first Call of Duty game that I've played in a super long time. Like, I think it's almost been like a decade since I've actually gotten a Call of Duty game, played it, beat it, and yeah, I think the last one that at least the last one that I know that I purchased was probably Black Ops 2 on my PlayStation 2. So that was like what, 2011, 2012. I just remember I was in high school when it came out, so it's been like a long time since that came out. And then also I played Modern Warfare 3, I believe, on my Xbox 360. That was a gift. So basically 2012, 2013, I think it's somewhere around there. Like, it's been just a super long time since I played any Call of Duty. Jumping into the campaign, that's pretty much what I played. I played a little bit of the zombies. I didn't play any of the multiplayer. It's just not my thing, you know. But I got this game as a gift for my birthday, and I threw it in the big stack of games to play later, and now I'm getting to that stack of games to play later. The campaign for Cold War obviously takes place during the time of the Cold War. You play as a Black Ops operative named Bell, you kind of get to choose your background. I chose ex-KBG, Russian military type dude. And it's actually kind of cool because depending on what you choose affects what happens later in the game. Not really, but it affects like your background and like how the story or how the characters treat you. For instance, since I chose an ex-Russian KBG, I was treated a little bit differently. Some of the guys are like, "Well, we can't trust him. He used to work for Russia. He used to work for, all these big bad guys." So there's that. The campaign for this is pretty short. I think I only beat it in like 5-ish hours, give or take, maybe 1 or 2 hours. I couldn't remember exactly how long it took me. All I know is that it was short. And since it's been so long since I played a Call of Duty game, I could have swore that the campaigns were much longer. And sure enough, when I went back and I was like, dude, is it just me, or does this campaign just feel like really short? Like, by the time I was like, okay, this is getting good, I thought we were reaching like the halfway point, not the end of the game, if that makes sense. Like, I thought there was still another 5 more hours left of gameplay, not that we're reaching the final climax type deal. Sure enough, when I looked up, the average length of all the other Call of Duty campaigns, a lot of them are short, but some of the older ones that I specifically remember playing growing up were definitely much longer, 10, 12-hour campaigns. Here, it is relatively short. You could probably actually bust it out in even longer, specifically because I did 2 of the optional side quests, which there is only 2 optional side quests, and we'll get to those in a little bit, but I also did those, and actually those were probably some of my more favorite missions, to be honest anyway. So the whole premise of the campaign is that you're trying to figure out what the Russians are doing, why they're bringing all these missiles to America, and you find out that there's this one lead guy who's like in charge of all this, this whole operation, and he had stole a nuke. And for the life of me, I can't remember literally anybody's name from this game, which kind of plays into the negative here in a little bit. A lot of these characters were just kind of forgettable. Pretty much everybody, except for the character that you play as is Bell. But they steal a nuclear weapon, and the whole point of this Black Ops mission is that you're trying to find where he's at, where he took the bomb to. And then as you progress throughout the story, you find out that he actually left the atomic bomb, and he had stole some scientists that helped him figure out a way to basically remote access all the atom bombs that are in Europe. And he was going to fire them off to make it look like America launched all the nukes at Europe. And that's pretty much the premise. Like I said, you play as the ex-KBG. They do like some brainwashing. Some of the missions in this game are super fun. One of the best missions was one of the earlier missions. It was like where you're trying to shoot down this plane, and then you drop like a little RC car to blow stuff up, and you're shooting guys as they're coming by in like squads and all these big old trucks and stuff like that. It's in the trailer. That's like their big set piece, was the huge plane coming down. That mission was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, there's no other mission that's quite like that, where you get to you know, drop a little robot car, or you get a specific weapon, or you get, you know what I mean? It just wasn't any cool mission like that. There was just the one. There were other cool missions. For instance, my favorite mission was actually one that you didn't even like really shoot anybody until the very end. You didn't really, it's not like guns blazing like when you think of Call of Duty. You infiltrate the KBG headquarters, this big old Russian facility, and you're trying to get information, and you're basically a spy, and you're going around and you're trying to, there's so many different paths to get. You're trying to get this key card to let your buddies in the basement in, and they suspect that there's a spy among their ranks. And that mission was a ton of fun. Like, there's so many different outcomes that you could have done just from that mission. You could have went and talked to the prisoner that they captured, which is one of their operatives that they basically said, like, hey, why don't you just get rid of this guy? Or you can go in to the data books or the computer and change who made the phone call to somebody else, so they arrest the other guy, and then you swap his key card when he puts all his stuff on the table. Anyways, that whole mission was a lot of fun, and there's not really any guns blazing, minus the very end of that mission, which was a little ridiculous. You're basically putting on all this armor, and you get like this huge like Gatling gun, and you're just mowing down people as you wait for your ride to get there, and then you guys leave. But that mission was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. One of the other things that I really enjoyed about the campaign is the 2 side quest missions that I had mentioned. Basically, you have to be a detective and use your detective skills and get all these different key items kind of thing, these different clues, and you piece together all these different clues to try to find out. For instance, you have, I believe, 8 or 10 different suspects for this certain mission, and you're trying to narrow it down to 3 suspects that are working for the leader, right? And you get like this audio recording that mentions, you know, some things, and they all have code names. And so you have to take like, oh, this person called themselves a she in this one. Oh, and then this one said that, you know, he went to Barcelona, Spain. And so like you take all these different things, and I actually had to get out my phone and I like put all the notes together, because it's kind of hard to decipher them when you're just looking at the evidence separately. So I wish that there's a way that it would kind of like push them together for you in the game. So I wrote it all down, and then that was a lot of fun, just like figuring out all the different people. And you don't actually find out whether or not you got the right people till literally the end of the game. So at the end of the game, when I first did it, I was able to get all 3 of the suspects, because it tells you like, oh, the 3, you know, we snuffed out all the spies, kind of thing like that. So like, it's cool, but you also don't get to find out whether or not you actually, you know, got the right targets or not till the end of the game. Oh, and by the way, all these missions are replayable, and you can choose different outcomes. Specifically, like when you're getting brainwashed, you can redo that mission to get the second ending. There's like 2 or 3 endings for this, so all the missions are totally replayable. One of the other missions, like I said, that was part of that 2 optional missions that you don't actually have to do was like the floppy disk one. I forget the name of it, but basically you have to get all these different codes. You get like this newspaper that's got different letters highlighted, and then you have this like key card type thing, that's key code I should say, and you're trying to figure out the missing numbers, and you take the numbers and mixed with the letters, and basically more you know, the detective skills, and you piece it together to try to find out the code and the place or passphrase for the floppy disk. And once you find that out, you can find out, you know, who your suspect is. That was a lot of fun. But apparently that one, when I looked it up, has like everybody's game is different. So like my code was like 2274 or something like that, and the passphrase was like Manchester or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but everybody gets a different code and everyone gets a different passphrase. So if you were to just like, oh well, I don't want to do all this, I'll just look it up. When you try to look it up, it won't actually give you the answer. So I thought that was actually really cool, and that's something that is totally optional, and I thought that was a lot of fun. And it just makes me think how many people just skipped it, even though those were some of the 2 like best missions, at least in my opinion. Combat in this game was a lot of fun. Just like any other Call of Duty, it was exactly how I imagined it would be. Lots of big guns, lots of gunfire, different weapon varieties. The enemies were fine. I didn't have any encounters with the enemies that I'm like, oh wow, this is ridiculous. Minus there's like this new enemy that's basically like a tank. He's just a huge bullet sponge, and he's kind of like that one mission that I told you about where he's just decked out in armor, and it takes like 1,000 shots to basically take him down. He's only can be stunned by like flashbangs and grenades. They don't actually damage him or anything. He just kind of like stumbles, and then you're like bah, 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 and just unload your whole clip. And he like two-shots you too, so there's that. So you got to make sure that you're, you know, by cover by the time he recuperates. The graphics for this game all looked phenomenal. Very nice looking game. A lot of really cool set pieces. You're going through the jungle like on a helicopter. That was awesome. Yeah, and then you go to like from the jungle to like this big snowy mountain. So there's a lot of like different area varieties, and most of the graphics for each one of those areas just looked really good. I didn't run into any glitches on my playthrough. I don't know if there is a big thing on launch or not, but I'm playing this shoot like 2 years later. Or no, this came out not last year, because Vanguard. Yeah, so it's like last year, beginning of last year, right? 2021, I believe. I don't remember. I just remember that they come out with like 2 Call of Duties a year, because we had Vanguard, I thought, earlier this year, and now we're getting friggin' Modern Warfare 2 remake, I guess. I don't know. We've talked a little bit about some of the things that I actually liked about the game. Now some of the things that I didn't quite like. First thing that was annoying right off the bat is when I was downloading this game. First of all, the game itself, like the gigabyte wise, is friggin' huge. It's like 200 and something gigabytes. And it makes you download all of the multiplayer stuff, all of the arcade stuff, the zombies, like all 3 of that. And then so I was like, okay, so this is, first of all, this is taking forever. It's been raining a lot where I'm at, so like the Wi-Fi has been slow. So when I finally got it downloaded, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's start this campaign. I go to the campaign, and you have to download the campaign separately. And I'm like, what? Why couldn't I just choose the campaign from the start? Like when it gives you those list of options to start downloading first, it didn't even give you a campaign option, which I thought was super annoying, because I wish that I could just download the campaign. Sure, you know, we could download the whole game and delete that. That's fine, you know, later. But at least give me the option to download the campaign instead of going straight into like a multiplayer, which I know multiplayer is their big thing, and I know a lot of people play it. But for me personally, it would have just been nice to have the option. Not that it really mattered. It just made me wait, you know, an extra day, because it wasn't, you know, finished downloading by the time I was ready for me to play. Another thing I found that was kind of annoying is that like pretty much everybody wears sunglasses. There's like a few characters that are like constantly wearing sunglasses, even when it's night. It's not really like, it didn't change my experience of the game. I just remember like Adler is this main guy that's like one of the few characters I remember is Adler, and he's always wearing sunglasses. It'll be the middle of the day, sure, but then there's so many times where it's like definitely nighttime, and he's straight up wearing shades in the middle of the night, and I'm like, it's just ridiculous. I said a lot of good stuff about the levels. One of the levels that I didn't like, I liked it at first, but then there's the one towards the end where you're kind of, I think it's called Identity Crisis, and you don't really remember who you are, and you basically do this mission in Vietnam, and the first couple times it was fun, but then it literally makes you do it like 4 different times, and I was like, okay, come on, this is getting annoying. Like we beat it, and then the second time I had to beat it with a different gun, because they're like, oh, he didn't do it with a different, you know, gun, and they're like, oh wait, that's not quite right, you had a bow and arrow and you killed everyone's stealth. And so then I had to do the whole mission again with a bow and arrow. It was just annoying. Like the first 2 times I was like, or first time I was like, yeah, this is fun. Second time I was like, okay, we're doing it again. And then the third time I'm like, all right. And then the 4th time I was just like, I'm just done. Actually, I was done with the second time, or yeah. So that was kind of annoying. I mean, I understood that there was like a narrative purpose behind it, but I wish that the level itself was just a tad bit shorter, since you're making me try to kill all these enemies over and over again. And then last but not least was just the length. I kind of talked about this already. I just wish that the game was just a little bit longer, because just when I was getting really into it and I was really invested in the story, it kind of ends. There are multiple endings. My first playthrough, I got the good ending, where you stop the nuclear weapons from going off, you stop everybody. Unfortunately, your lead guy, I'm drawing a blank on his name, gets away, but you know, your whole crew survives, and at the very end, you and Adler both pull a gun at each other at the same time, and it fades to black and you hear a shot, so you don't know if you're dead or not. Second option is where you don't side with Adler and you decide to betray the people that basically kidnapped you and brainwashed you. So there's that. And you launch all the nukes anyway. That's kind of like the bad ending. So I think there's like a few other endings, but those were just the two that I got. Basically, one, everybody lives. The second ending, everybody dies. Like the whole group that I was with, everybody died. And then also the nukes went off. Also, one of the other things that I thought was, I guess it just felt out of place. There's a part in the story where you guys infiltrate this guy's base on Cuba, and you guys basically get bombarded with bombs, and there's a chance to save 2 different people. And to be honest, most of the characters are pretty forgettable, at least during my playthrough. Like I said, I haven't played Call of Duty in a super long time, so I don't know if these are returning characters or not. I had no emotional attachment to anybody that I was playing. Like I said, it's been like 10 years. And so they present you with a choice, you know, save this girl or save the dude. And I immediately saved the dude because I was like, why would I save the girl? It literally showed the girl like 2 times in my whole playthrough. And then I think I did like 2 missions with this guy. So it's like I played a lot more with this other dude. So I immediately saved him. And she gets mad and yells. But I just thought it was kind of like they're trying to make it seem like the stakes, you know, like, oh, who are you going to choose? Who are you going to save? And it's like the girl I've met like twice or this dude that I've actually like fought with. So it was just kind of like out of place. It was a no-brainer. Anyways, I wish that there was a little bit more emotional tension there. Maybe have you do a few more missions, a few more cutscenes with both of these people, and so it was kind of like a moral dilemma, like who you gonna choose kind of thing. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just kind of nitpicky stuff. Overall, guys, I actually enjoyed it. I think overall I enjoyed my time with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I didn't think I was going to like it. And surprisingly, I had a good time. Like I said, I wish that it was a little bit longer. And, you know, that's pretty much it. As like the story was actually fairly decent. The gunplay was great. The levels were pretty great as well. The graphics were amazing. So overall, I had a great time. Unfortunately, like a lot of the characters were pretty forgettable. At least for me, I just either didn't care about them or literally have no idea who they were. And so overall, guys, I would give the campaign for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War a 7 out of 10. Had a great time. I actually had such a blast with this that I'm actually considering getting the new Modern Warfare 2, and I hope that the campaign is better and much longer than this one. I doubt that it'll be crazy long. You know, it's Call of Duty. I don't think they've all been crazy long, but longer. I had a great time. Let me know down in the comments below, guys, what you guys thought of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Have you guys played it yet? I know it's been out for a while. Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. And that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.